The story starts with Yuichi, a high school student who rides his bicycle to the newspaper store. He tells his boss that he's been working extra hard because he needs more money for an expensive school trip next month. Yuichi's friends promise to go on the trip together, so he doesn't want to back out. Next, we meet his 4 friends, Makoto, Shibe, Shiho, Tenji, and Mikasa. They are happy that Yuichi has managed to save money for the trip. But suddenly things take a twist when they discover that the 2 million yen they collected for the trip has been stolen. Shiho and Shibe were responsible for keeping the money in Shiho's locker, but no one takes responsibility for the theft. Shiho and Shibe stop coming to school and ignore calls and messages from their friends. Then Yuichi receives a letter asking him to meet at the school gate at night. When he arrives, he finds his friends waiting there, only to realize that they have been set up and kidnapped. Yuichi wakes up in a white room with his friends, and it looks like a place where mutants are kept to control their powers, similar to what's been seen in a TV series. A robot mascot named Manabu enters the room. Although controversial, Manabu reveals that they are all owing a debt of 20 million yen. Turns out that one of them had stolen the money for the trip and used it to register for a game. Manabu explains the rules of the game, and as it begins, the 20 million yen debt is divided equally among all 5 of them, who are playing as a team. However, they struggle with the easy questions, and Yuichi realizes that someone among them is sabotaging their progress. He tries to solve the issue, but fails. When they reach the last question and are on the verge of being eliminated, Yuichi breaks the rule by speaking before they choose an answer. This offense doubles their debt. Yuichi speaks up, claiming that there's a traitor among them who wants to dump all the debt on Yutori, by now possessing double his previous debt. Yuichi spoils the traitor's plan. He ends his speech by stating that he was joking and that he trusts all of them, just wanting to change the mood. Although in such an intense game, his friends may not appreciate his jokes. Yuichi suddenly sends a threat to the traitor and deceives them, putting them in a difficult situation. This forces all 5 of them to choose the same answer for the next question. They get it correct and advance to the second game. While everyone heads to the venue for the second game, Yuichi stays behind to search for clues about the traitor but finds nothing. The second game is called Badmouth Sugoroko, where they are required to reveal their friends' secrets and say negative things about them. The audience will then choose the worst one, and the person with that secret has to move closer to the finish line. The first person to reach the finish line will suffer a significant loss. However, the group of friends decides to submit blank cards and move an equal number of steps. They are surprised to see that their debt increases, causing panic to set in. Soon, someone writes on a card and exposes Shiho's relationship with Yuichi and Tenji. This almost leads to a fight between Shiho and Tenji. In the following rounds, more dirty secrets are revealed, causing resentment and a lack of trust among the friends. The next card exposes Yutori's engagement in compensating dating, offering her body to older men. This causes her to break down in tears, blaming Shiho since only Shiho knew about her secret. The team is now completely divided, with Yutori sticking with Yuichi while Shiho and Tenji are together, and Shibe is on his own. It's soon revealed that Tenji is the traitor, and he's been secretly monitoring their lives. The question arises, what will make a supposed friend turn against his own people in this way? Tenji is satisfied with the damage he's caused to Yutori's feelings for Shiho. Now he aims to break Shiho's feelings for Yuichi as well. To achieve his goal and break all their friendships, he isolates Yutori, making her vulnerable. He continues his actions, trying to destroy Shiho's feelings for Yutori as well. Tenji decides to write a bad mouth about himself next. In an attempt to reduce suspicion, he claims to be lying about his age and creates further strain in the relationships between Shiho, Yuichi, and Yutori. As they progress in the game, Yutori lands on a space that allows her to nominate someone for the game's investigations. She tries to win her friends back and nominates Yuichi. Soon it is revealed that Yuichi's father is a corrupt man who's been taking bribes and sexually abused people. During the next round, another shocking revelation from the Badmouth cards is that Shibe has allegedly killed someone. He cries and pleads with his friends to believe that he has never done such a thing. Tenji notices Yuichi smiling and realizes that Yuichi wrote it. Shibe is told to prove that it is a lie, but he has no way to disprove such a serious accusation. Yuichi takes the opportunity to address the group once again, stating that there is a traitor among them who is trying to break their friendship. He reveals a new strategy where they all work together and only write bad mouths about themselves, except for the person on top, making it easier to identify the traitor. However, Tenji refuses and insists that Yuichi should name the traitor so they can focus on exposing themselves, something Yuichi refuses to do. Manabu brings the results of the next round, but instead of 4 bad mouths, there are now 10. The traitor has utilized the rule that allowing to write more than 1 bad mouth, successfully undermining Yuichi's strategy. Tenji then asks Yuichi to name the traitor, now that his strategy has failed. However, Yuichi claims that he doesn't know who the traitor is, further deepening the cracks in the team's friendship. At this point, Tenji's behavior becomes even more suspicious. With Shiho now in the final space, Tenji has almost achieved his revenge, as she is sure to reach the goal before the others. However, Yuichi proposes another idea. They all write the same thing, that they are the ones who applied to play the Tomodachi game. The idea behind this is that there's a penalty if you are actually caught lying. So everyone except the person who actually applied to the game will advance to the next stage for not lying. When Manabu reveals the results, only one bad mouth has written off instead of 5. Tenji realizes that he's been exposed and starts to shed fake tears, but Yuichi doesn't buy it. Yuichi explains to Tenji how he had been communicating with Shiho through the bad mouth cards. They've been a team from the beginning, unknown to Tenji, who was solely focused on his revenge. Yuichi had also informed Yutori that Shiho was on their side, but they had to keep pretending to fight with her to ensure that Tenji remained oblivious to their plan. This was to ensure that the other members of the team could be trusted and would comply with Yuichi's strategy. Yuichi also had them give their name tags to him, even though the traitor had been found. Shiho will still lose the game and advance to the next stage alone. Yuichi tells Manabu that he had lied during the game, and the punishment puts him one step ahead of Shiho, allowing him to advance to the next round. He reveals that he had actually killed people, causing his friends to try to distance themselves from him. However, Tenji declared that he loves Yuichi and kisses him on the lips, adding an unexpected twist to the story. Together they fall from the cliff and descend to the venue of the next game. We then see a young Yuichi counting money, and his mother tells him that friends are more important than money. Yuichi and Tenji wake up in a cave with only a bottle of water, and they have to survive there for 3 days. Tenji explains his reason for betraying them back in junior school. Him and 2 of his friends have saved enough money, and when Shiho joined their school, his friends also liked her. They decided to divide the money among themselves and invest separately. Whoever makes the most profit gets to be the CEO of their future company and propose to Shiho. However, they get kidnapped and forced to play the Tomodachi game, where Tenji loses and gets punished with 20 million in debt. Later, he finds out that his friend spent all his money on Shiho. He spoke about the Tomodachi game to his dad, which led to his dad's death. He also tells Yuichi that Shiho lied about her debt, and he proves this. Together, they decide to destroy the Tomodachi game management. In this scene, Tenji puts an end to all our boys' love theories, as he claims he only kissed Yuichi because he wanted an opportunity to explain why he betrayed them. With the 3 days over, they head into the forest where they are greeted by Manabu. The next game is a hide-and-seek game, and the 2 of them are up against Group K, which still has 5 members. Group K's higher numbers give them an advantage in this game. A girl named Maria is added to Tenji and Yuichi's team, while Tanji is the hider for the team, and Juzo is the hider for Group K. Tanji feels a bit dizzy as they haven't eaten for 3 days. They begin to look for a place for Tenji to hide, and they finally choose a small cave. Yuichi tells Tenji not to give up, and Tenji decides to trust him completely for the game. Yuichi is unable to bring food for Tenji for 2 days, as the members of Group K are watching him and will follow him to the cave if he makes a move. A hungry and thirsty Tenji receives a call from Yuichi's phone, but it's from a member of Group K telling him that Yuichi plans to abandon him. This messes with Tenji's head, but he chooses to trust Yuichi. Group K is a team that solely relies on their genius leader who decides everything for them. They're not just friends, but members of the same basketball team. On the 3rd day, Tenji, without food, for 6 days now, begins to hallucinate. We see Yuichi tell Group K that he wants to join their team and tells him other teammates that they have to call the captain and allow him to decide. Yuichi begins to tease them, calling them kids who can't take simple decisions on their own, causing the erratic Yukitaro to almost punch him. Violence against the other team will result in an immediate loss. It becomes obvious that Yuichi is trying to rile them up, and no one should have fallen for it. Group K comes back and says that the captain has refused to allow Yuichi to join their team. However, they will accept him into the team if Maria also switches teams. Yuichi rejects this offer. A slip-up from Hyakutaro ensures that Yuichi and Maria are on the run with the food. They are chased by Kalkutaro and Chisatone, but Yuichi sacrifices Maria by pushing her over the cliff, forcing the 2 Group K members to try to save her while he escapes with food to an almost unconscious Tenji. He thanks Tenji for not pressing the surrender button, and now they can play the game for longer. Maria pretends to show Hyakutaro some affection for saving her, and they grow close. However, Yuichi begins to bully her roughly, causing Hyakutaro to tell Maria to switch to Group K so he can protect her. K stops him from making the decision and decides to call the captain first, but Yuichi mocks him, saying he can't save a little girl without the captain's approval. K and Hyakutaro go to the hideout to ask the captain directly, and when they get back, the captain doesn't approve the request. Instead, he allows Hyakutaro to join Group C. With Hyakutaro now in Group C, he tries to punch Yuichi, who quickly pins him to the floor and later ties him up against a tree. Yuichi tries to use Maria to get the hideout location from Hyakutaro, but it is then revealed that he doesn't actually know where Juzo is hiding. It's also later revealed that K is the genius of Group K and the one who calls the shots. Later on, K reveals to Maria that he knows she is from the management, and he convinces her to betray Yuichi. She calls Yuichi and gets the hideout location from him, but when Yuichi sees her with K, he realizes that she has been betrayed and falls on his knees, screaming in anger. K finds Tenji, who's surprised about how they lost, and Manabu brings the game to a close with everyone now gathered. Manabu tells them that Group C has won the game, much to the surprise and annoyance of Group K. It is explained that Juzo pressed the surrender button, causing Group K to lose. What happened is that immediately after the team left to search for Tenji, Yuichi called Juzo and threatened to torture Yakutaro, who he had previously tied to a tree, if Juzo didn't press the button. Juzo is reluctant at first, but when Yuichi starts raining punches on Yakutaro, Juzo begins to waver. Yuichi tells Juzo that he knows they are basketball players and that he will break Yakutaro's fingers, which would be detrimental to his basketball career. After hearing the sound of a finger snapping, Juzo starts crying, and Yuichi berates him for bringing this upon his teammates and being the one owing the debt. This ultimately makes Juzo press the surrender button, ensuring Group C's victory. Now in the present, after the game has come to an end, Juzo attacks Yuichi and punches him severely for breaking Yakutaro's finger. However, it is revealed that Yuichi actually broke his own finger to win the game. Tenji and Yuichi are released for a period of time before the fourth game starts. They go to school and discover that their friends have been getting bullied and that Shiho has suddenly disappeared. They visit Shibei's house and find out that Shibei's father has been murdered. The police take Shibei away with blood on his shirt. Yuichi realizes that Shibei told his father about the Tomodachi game in order to get the 2 million and pay back the class. In the next scene, Yuichi ends his friendship with Yutori, telling her that she is a burden and a stranger to him. It becomes clear that he's doing this to protect her. Then Tenji receives a call from Manabu and they are shown a captured Yutori. Yuichi is instructed to come alone to a location, or bad things will happen to Yutori. When Yuichi arrives at the location, he sees a group of thugs led by Kuroki wearing a Manabu mask. The first game is introduced, involving punches from the biggest members of the gang. Either Yutori gets punched once, or Yuichi takes 3 punches. Yuichi decides to sacrifice himself and takes the 3 punches. The second game is for either Yutori to have 1 fingernail pulled out, or Yuichi to have 3 fingernails pulled out. Yutori decides to bear this one, but when the pain becomes too much, she calls out for Yuichi's help, and he decides to take the pain and have 3 fingernails plucked out, causing a lot of blood and pain. The last test is about to start, and if Yutori chooses herself, she will have to dance naked for a gang member. But if Yuichi chooses himself, Kuroki will stab his hand 3 times with a knife. Yutori is unable to decide, so Yuichi gets his hand stabbed 3 times. Kuroki is excited as Yuichi screams out in pain. However, the game ends there. Yutori bandages Yuichi's hand and he tells her to leave because he has unfinished business with Kuroki, but she refuses to go. Yuichi manipulates Kuroki into playing a game where he can either get 10 million or have his fingers cut off. Yuichi wins the game, but Kuroki rejects his win. Kuroki commands his thugs to attack Yuichi, but the real management of the Tomodachi game arrives with Tenji, revealing that Kuroki and his thugs were impersonators. Yuichi collapses from the loss of blood. Shibei is now in more debt after his father's death. In the end, Tenji and Yutori enter the courtroom with Manabu as the judge, and the 4th game is about to begin. And that is the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.